Hello everyone, Mike Rempel from Excel Bytes with today's Excel blog post. Today we're going to take a look at Go To Special. This is one of my favorite tools in Excel. I use it all the time and there's so many different options that you can use it for and choose from that I thought it was worthwhile running through those for you. So let's take a look at Go To Special in Excel. So you can find Go To Special a couple different ways. If you go up to the Find and Select command in the ribbon in the Home tab, you can see Go To and Go To Special. If I select that, the Go To Special dialog pops up and you can see all the various things that you can find using Go To Special. Or what I like to do is hit the F5 key and then Alt-S, which brings up the same dialog box, but it uses keyboard shortcuts, which I tend to prefer. So let's take a look at the different things that you can do. Now notice under each of the options here, there is one letter that's underlined. So when you bring up the Go To Special dialog box, if you hold down your Alt key and select that letter, it will then go to that option. So in this case, Comments is selected, but notice Constants has an O underlined. So if I hit Alt-O, it would select Constants. So let's just go to the first one here, which we have as Comments. Since it's selected, and if I say OK, notice Excel has highlighted cell B18, which has a comment in it, and G18, which has a comment in it. So by selecting Go To Special and choosing Comments, Excel will select and highlight those cells so you can find where the comments are on your worksheet. The next one is Constants. So let's say I highlight this range here and I hit F5, Alt-S, and Constants is Alt-O, and I hit Enter. Excel will only highlight those cells that have just constant values or fixed values, not anything that's blank or not anything that has a formula in it. So that's what the Constants option does. If instead I highlighted that same range and I hit F5, Alt-S, and Alt-F for formulas and hit Enter, Excel now only highlights the cells going along in row 18 and down in column G that have some formulas in them. So that's how to easily find the formulas on your worksheet. Next, if I highlighted a range and I wanted to find blanks, I would hit F5, Alt-S, Alt-K, hit Enter, and now Excel has highlighted those blanks. So maybe what I want to do is, color those or highlight those in some way to identify where my blank cells are. The next is Current Region. Now, with Current Region, I'll hit F5, Alt-S, and Current Region is R, so I can hit Alt-R and hit Enter, and it'll highlight that current region. Now, to me, this is a less efficient way to accomplish that. You can always use Control-A to do the same thing, or you can hit Control and the asterisk. That'll also select the entire region. But this is another way that you can choose to select the current region in your worksheet. Next is Current Array. I'm going to go down here where I have a little table here, and notice in this column I have an array formula. So if I want to find out the complete range of cells that contain that array formula, again, F5, Alt-S, Alt-A, hit Enter, and now Excel has highlighted that entire column of formulas which all contain that same array formula. Next is Objects. So if I hit F5, Alt-S, Objects is Alt-B, and I hit Enter. Now notice it has selected all the cells that had checkboxes. So this is great if you want to, say, delete all your objects, or maybe with checkboxes or something similar, you just want to reposition them. So now that I have them all selected, notice they can all move in unison, and then I can reposition them very easily by selecting them all with Go To Special. The next one is quite unique. I'm going to highlight two separate columns here. Notice I have column I and column J look very similar, 45, 45, 51, 51, 94, 94, etc. And they both total up to 996. But I want to make sure they're exact. So I can highlight one column, hold my control key, highlight another column, then I'll hit F5, Alt S, and in this case, Alt W, which is row differences. I'll hit Enter, and notice Excel has highlighted two cells. In row 8, 77, 78 are different, and row 11, 65, 64. Both off by 1 the opposite way, so the total is the same, but Excel helped me find where I have two differences instead of having them all be the same values. And I could do the same with column differences. So if I highlighted this row of data here and this row of data here, I hit F5, Alt S, and Alt M. For column differences, hit Enter. Excel found 98, 99. So in this column, there were two cells that were different. And you can only use those to compare two rows or two columns at a time. Next, if I'm down here, say in cell F18, and I want to find what cells are precedents to this formula, F5, Alt S, and in this case, Alt P for precedents, hit Enter, and Excel selected all the cells that are used to add up to the formula that we have in F18. If I select it and I want to find the dependents, very similar, F5, Alt S, Alt D, hit Enter, and Excel has moved over to G18, which is the cell that has the sum function that includes cell F18. So G18 is dependent on cell F18. The last few here are kind of interesting. First, I'm going to hit F5, Alt S, and the next one is last cell, which is again another Alt S. Now, if I hit Enter, Excel jumps down to P31. Notice it's the last cell in column P and in row 31, which I don't have any data below that. So it's taking me to the last cell that I've done anything with. And this would include any conditional formatting or other formatting that I may have done, even though there might be no values in those cells. If there was some work or something that was done to those cells, Excel will take me to that last cell on the current worksheet. Next, we're going to look at visible cells only. Now, I have a keyboard shortcut for this, but I just want to show you the concept of how you can do it with GoToSpecial. So let's say I have these four cells here, and I want to highlight these two rows. So I'm going to hit Control 9 to hide those, and I'm going to highlight 82 and 21, hit Control C to copy those. If I go down here and hit Control V, notice even though there were two rows that were hidden, it copied and pasted all four of those values, even the ones that were hidden. But I just want to copy the visible cells only. So I can hit F5, Alt S, and in this case Alt Y, and hit Enter. And now when I copy, notice Excel puts the marquee around the individual cells, not them as one. So now when I paste those, I only copied and pasted the visible cells only. So that's a nice feature here. Now you can do that with the keyboard shortcut Alt and semicolon. That does the same thing. Now I can do Control C to copy down here, Control V. That's the same thing as using GoToSpecial, but that option is available. I'll unhide those and get back to where we were. If I do have any conditional formatting in my worksheet, Excel will help me find that. F5, Alt S, and in this case it's Alt T for conditional formats. I hit Enter, and Excel highlighted column F from F1 to F17. And if I just want to check that, I can go to Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules, look for the conditional formatting on this worksheet, and the only thing that shows up is this one line here, and that goes from F1 to F17. So that's exactly what GoToSpecial came up with. The last one is data validation. So if I hit F5, Alt S, and Alt V, and hit Enter, notice first it selects all, so I'm going to choose that, Excel highlighted 3 different cells, and this can become very useful because notice, unless I click on that cell, the drop-down arrow isn't easily visible or isn't visible at all. So this way I can tell that these 3 cells do have data validation in them. Now the last option here, if I just select one of these and hit F5, Alt-S, Alt-V, and then I hit Alt-E for same and hit Enter, notice Excel only selected one other one that was in cell L8. So if we take a look at these, this one has East, West, North, South. This one has East, West, North, South. But this one had a different set of values in that data validation. So when I hit F5 Alt S, I selected data validation same, and it only highlighted one other one that was identical to the one that I had chosen. So these are all the great things that you can do with GoTo Special in Excel. And there you have it. I hope you like what you see. If you do like what you see here, please take a minute to share this post on your favorite social network. I can be found on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So I hope you enjoy this. If you'd like to see more, please feel free to stop by my website, excel-bytes.com, and I hope you subscribe. So have a great day and happy excelling.